Hello and welcome to another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix of Disco Elysium. And last Let's Play, we didn't vomit and inspected the corpse. And this Let's Play,
before you, his eyes are dark brown hair.
we're going to look into his mind.
I'm gone.
I didn't think that would work, but it is what it is.
Into the wild pale yonder.
It do be like that.
In the past, way out in the west.
Does this actually mean anything?
The blue heart. Oh, that's good shit. You'll love it. Just press down and fuck it open like you always do.
It do be like that.
Fuck it hard. Popo the clown.
I'm trying my best here.
He means force. It'll work.
Will it?
I'm a joke. Look at me. A killer. A motherfucker. And a killer.
Now, are you meaning something that goes after MILFs or just an asshole?
Go ahead, Cobbo. What do you mean? It's the power of your imagination. Go ahead. Ask me more questions. You fucking love questions.
I actually do.
Because you're a copperoonie. Look at all of them go. Do you want more questions?
Now when answers.
Here you go, you loony. Fuck no. You're no Rooney.
I'm not a Rooney.
No, you don't. Between you and me, your name is probably Harry. Because you have.
You mean like where I live?
Do I remind you of someone?
Oh, ouch.
A child born with Muller's disease, harlequinism, grown up miraculously.
What is harlequinism? Okay, sorry, I'm just going to do a tangent. Harlequinism. An action or expression characteristic of a Fuck you. I always fucking hate that in this, when it comes to like dictionary stuff where it's like, what is harlequinism? Oh, something that does harlequin stuff. It's like, it's like, oh, what? What? Ooh. Well, I put in harlequin twipe in thesosis, and it's like, oh, that is something you don't want to look at. No. Set face. I'll actually just be over here for a hot second. It's like, what was that thing? Ooh. Yeah, you don't want to get the harlequinism. It's like, hopefully someday we are able to be like, hey, we can do genetic engineering. Be like, hey, we can have kids that don't have all these horrible diseases, you know? For me personally, it's like, hey, let's get rid of short-sightedness and prostate cancer and hopefully have children that don't need C-sections because we're big.
You sure got out of that one? God Bellini. Come back later, Corpo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If possible, also, see me in your dreams. Of course, you have come
That's
back
it.
later.
Well, maybe do a safety save, which is F5.
The man before you.
Are you sure we finished the preliminary examination of the cadaver?
Yeah.
The steel reinforced belt presents a unique challenge. I brought chain cutters, but I don't see a good angle of approach to the belt.
Bullets.
He doesn't actually think the challenge is unique. He thinks it's frustrating, annoying, and harder than he thought.
The cadaver is a good 1.2 meters up. Neither one of us can reach the belt without assistance. And someone
Nope,
else?
sorry.
You mean like the police?
What was that about processing, then? Weren't they supposed to take care of the boots? Why don't they help?
No. Think of the boys from processing as murderers. Only instead of people, they murder crime scenes. Processing is a wrecking crew. They know how to commission off items and how to work the incinerator in the morgue. I know it's hard, but I assure you, the others won't come to help us. And we have a growing sanitary concern here. We need to get him down, fast. Climb up there and saw the branch? There has to be a less risky way, with less falling down of trees. We are not getting him down already. Not getting him down is a task that's already accomplished. Sadly, it's not our job to keep him up there, but to get him down.
Heck.
How do you plan to get him down, then? With social sensibility? Are you going to educate him down?
I'm trying best.
Yeah! Bang bang time, pig! Shoot his head off!
How?
Where the buckle ties the rope to the branch. That's a good spot to aim.
Where? Ah, yes, I see. If the shot hits that, there might be a chance to release the belt.
Yeah, now we're talking. Entertain a Kuno with some shit.
They'll miss! The pigs will miss Kuno!
Them choose.
Silence. With his elbow sharp, the lieutenant unzips his jacket and produces a lightweight firearm. He drops a paper cartridge in the barrel, separates the scouring stick, and gives the cartridge 5 tucks.
I've heard this thing about paper cartridges. Apparently they're good for guns.
Securing it in place. That's a Kiel A9090 Armistice, mass-produced muzzle-loader, ascetic, frugal, one of the most common firearms in the world. He then steps back and assumes the fellow's desk position, taking aim. The corner of his eye twitches.
Like, I can understand him being behind back, but I guess it's like not supposed to be like, here's a flashlight, because I'm like, oh, look, it's me, I'm putting my arm behind my buddy.
He's gonna fucking miss!
The kid's voice is drowned in a shrill blast that echoes off the walls of the surrounding tenements. A cloud of smoke slowly parts in the air as the lieutenant steps back and says to himself,
Honestly, I feel like that's an hard shot to miss, just saying.
God damn it.
I'm sorry, my dude, but
A
still.
lot of things were wrong with that shot. The fellow's test was the wrong choice. His shoulders were raised, but above all, he cannot trust his eyesight.
Fucking idiot! Mookaba asshole!
I guess that's racism.
Kuno could have hit it easy, but then Kuno's not fucking handicapped, is he? Kuno's sorry too. Kuno feels sorry for the Beano Cloud.
The lieutenant doesn't say a word, just looks at the gun in his hand.
No, we are lucky as it is. We didn't break anything, and the victim remains uncompromised. Any more mistakes could put us in an unfortunate position with the locals. We have eyes on us. I didn't do us any favors with that. I have to say, it's beginning to look unlikely we can get him down without assistance.
You know, you don't feel like too bad of a shot yourself.
I was really hoping we wouldn't. The Union appeared to be suspect in this case. It seems like a dangerous route to go down.
I would really prefer if there was another way. These people might have an agenda. But what other options? The corpse twists on the belt, like chicken.
Let's do a safety save. And then give
The man
ourselves
before
3
you
tries,
is
maybe?
naked, but for a pair of underpants and white boots. His skin is marble.
Yes, we do. It's bad as it is. Us shooting firearms like punks. Go ahead. I'm not stopping you. Just don't lose it.
Maybe, like, you can stand on my shoulder and I'll just hold you up there and so you can put your thing against the thing.
I only have one gun.
This is the sorriest pair of pigs Kuno's ever seen.
Well, if you didn't defund the police, then we wouldn't be in that situation.
Yeah, take it, you fucking banana pointer. Take it and shoot yourself.
The cold piece of bakelite and gunmetal is surprisingly light. Your fingers fit right through the guard, instinctively resting on the trigger. You've held this, an A9 Armistice, before. At some point, it probably used to be your choice of firearm. It still feels comfortable, like you never laid it down.
The fuck are you waiting for, Kuno? Tell him to shoot himself in the mouth.
The buckle comes into focus in your sights. You stand with your feet planted firmly in the ground and your left hand supporting
Well,
your
I'm
gun arm.
vibrating up and down.
Why don't you just shoot yourself in your mouth? At least you won't miss.
Can we shoot the children? Does that even work? Well, if it works, it works.
The buckle explodes into tiny pieces.
I think we have a drink for
with a
that.
whir. With your hand numb from the recoil, you look at the body slump down. For a moment, the man appears to kneel in front of you. Looking straight at you, helpless, trapped within itself.
Good question.
Communism.
Oh, so this guy was raised in America, where everything bad is communism. Where socialism was pretty much communism.
It takes a millisecond for the association to flash within your cortex. You have no idea where it's coming from, only that it's right. Then the rigor in his muscles gives up, and he smashes sideways into the spring mud, letting out a horrid stench.
I can't say I've been around corpses that have, you know, been unprocessed like that, but, you know. You've been policed. RCM, baby. RCM. Let's be me. How did I do that?
By being a damn good shot. Ace is high.
Hell yeah.
The ace is high, a custom invented by the aerostatic brigades during the revolution, is used to celebrate success in Revachol, especially in sports. The gesture is spread across the world, despite the defeat of the revolutionaries themselves.
Wait, I thought the revolutionaries defeated Revachol at... Fuck, I don't know.
You could add an ace's low to it, if you like, by turning your back after the high and waiting for another.
Hell yeah.
The high arrives with a sharp slap. As you turn around, there is a moment of doubt. Feels like that low ain't gonna connect. Chill. It's gonna connect. But then it does, and with furious precision. The lieutenant is not one to leave an ace's low hanging.
You know, I'm sorry. Like, I know this game is kind of unique, and maybe at some point I might just play this game by myself, like, I don't know, maybe freeze time, just be like, hey, all the no traits, hard run, Iron Man, everything is one, but it's like, I don't know. And then like another one where it's like, hey, I'm Super Cop. I have 999,999 stats, but still it's like, yeah. It'd be interesting to rival in this game, because like, you know, Kim Kitsuragi, good guy.
I knew these guys were
We will perform a field autopsy and determine the cause of death. But before... Excuse me.
Slumped on the ground like that has not improved the way the corpse smells. The fall seems to have released something deep inside it.
I don't know how bad a human corpse
It
smells.
looks like I feel like taking a break from the stench. I'm sorry to interrupt the jubilations here. Just a little breather before we do the autopsy.
Hmm.
In the meantime, we should try to interview Evrard Clare, the leader of the Union. Harbor property was clearly used in the hanging. The harbor just east of here. Getting in might prove a challenge, though. Or we could ask around for the representative of the logistics company. My initial information says the Wild Pines have sent some sort of strike negotiator to wrangle control back from Evrard.
You could ask the gardener for directions.
Yes. And those were the interviewees. Let's go.
But, could we do the corpse?
The rotting man lies on his side with his eyes looking straight through you. The belt is still around his neck. His body is supine and open to intrusion by autopsy. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Let's do a save voiced. There we go.
The rotting man, the lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Mundi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Epui Descent, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
There truly is a time for everything, even for yellow gardening gloves. However, they are lacking hygienically. I suggest you get in there in limited capacity.
Please elaborate, please.
I mean when I need you to. Until then, I should handle physical contact, and you should take notes.
Aye.
That's right.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with,
That's you.
the corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says,
KK57-0803.0815.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals Precinct 57, followed by his date 0803 and time of arrival 0815 on the scene. He's indexed the case after himself, not you. That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
Could we probably ask me like, hey, yeah.
And what would that make the alphanumeric?
HDB 41 0803. Help me out with the time of day, anyone? 10:15. It's understated.
Just do that.
Good. Let's go with that. NA. Next, NA. Roughly 50.
Try 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side.
Like, I don't know, I feel like he might know a bit more than me. Though, if we did succeed, then sport 2.
He nods.
Mondial.
What is that?
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Mwindi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish.
So, are we talking about, like, hey, these... Because, here's the thing. Before white became a bit more broad, there was, like, you know... Well... How do I put this? When, like, you know, looking back in, like, people back in times, like, oh, hey, that, well, yes, but, people from Italy. People from Italy weren't, you know, white, even though, you know, when you think of Italy, people, you think, yeah, they're white. But then, it's, like, also, and also because of, yes, I have had a few, but, when it comes to how people from England see Irish people, England people are like, they're not white. Apparently, back in the older days, like, huh. Because apparently, like, whiteness, because, sorry, I'm, you know, inebriated. This is how I'm doing these things, because I'm like, ooh, this game is good when I'm, you know, but it's like, I guess whiteness was a bit more exclusive back then, so I don't know. I'm just telling you guys what, you know, apparently what it was back then. And now? Because, you know, the beginning half of a Whopper, like a Boiga, is something you'd say to Italians, even though they're white? I don't know. And then there's something about Irish people, and it's like, you guys gotta...
The pudgy mess
just...
of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Fucky!
Male.
Pigs can have sex!
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
People can have Maoris, or what's the thing where, like, guys have male boobs?
We're still
Or
going
boobs?
with March 4th. 51. What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
HDB 41 0803 listens, motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
None. At least not after the initial examination.
Evidence of treatment. Yeah, good question.
Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem.
I mean, he did have a lot of, you know, kids throwing
They'd
things at
have
him.
to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dog walkers.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform.
We should start the post-mortem.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
See, it's happening.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
The boots are ceramic. vitreous enamel. They are fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire. If you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to, you have deserved them more than anyone else.
It's...
The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design. Tattoos. The upper torso
I
is
feel like
covered
it's a
in a
bad
single
thing.
continuous tattoo, resembling a national pattern. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene, using a Trigger Mini. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color, yellow. Length, 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature, below freezing. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
But...
The hair under your latex fingers feels cold to touch, wet.
feels like we want to do a thing.
The stench is suffocating. Strands of dark brown hair start sticking to the latex of the glove, like thread off a rag doll's head. There must be brilliantine in there. He's combed his hair back with oil.
What's the thing?
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs, consistent with stones thrown post-mortem.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation. Ligature mark. The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters. The hanged man lets out a joyous little bubble of rot from his nose.
Always good to think ahead. Now, we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
See? My pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the yeast.
Back off.
The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there. Steady now, like a flower arranger. 2 cuts and it should come.
Please.
After some deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together, sweat forming on your brow. Snap! The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck, and the dark red ligature mark around it.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact, normal contour, abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia...
No! It's gonna happen, see?
I fucking knew it!
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
The dead man's penis is average-sized, congested from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven in length, hanging underneath. The genitalia is greenish. Marbling is present around the...
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
We have a real museum here. Of battles, wars. Last item, hands.
The hand feels heavy, filled with decay liquids, like it's ready to explode if squeezed hard enough.
Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling. I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment. Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
Well, we're over the thing, so we're gonna call it here and maybe do more of this and then more of that, because he's not throwing anything in the potty and I have to go, take a right hard pisser. But that's gonna be the end of this Let's Play. So anyways, please comment, guys, comment, tell me what you like, dislike, tips, or otherwise. If you like me YouTube and would like to see grow, then please subscribe and check out the various type of Chrome. Please remember to spay your animals to help control the pet population. And until next time, that's right. Me, GamerWolfSix of Disco Elysium. See you at Ace's Lowest. So anyways, thanks and see you. And F10.